Hey there, and welcome to HisTime365. I'm so glad you're here for day 142 of our 365-day journey through the Bible. Today, we'll look at Job 24 through 27, and I'll walk you through what happens, what it means, and why it matters. I'll share a summary and some insights to help you see the big picture and connect with the heart of the scripture. During your quiet time, I encourage you to read today's lesson in a Bible translation that speaks to you best. Now grab a quiet moment, take a deep breath, and let's spend a few minutes giving God his time. The struggles of Job, understanding suffering and integrity. Have you ever faced a situation where everything seemed to go wrong and you wondered why? The story of Job invites us to explore deep questions about suffering, justice, and faith. As we dive into chapters 24 through 27, we continue to witness Job's struggle, his friends' misguided counsel, and his unwavering integrity. In Job 24, the narrative takes a turn as Job reflects on the injustices of the world. He questions why the wicked often prosper while the righteous suffer. Job points out that the world can be incredibly unfair. He observes that despite God's justice, evil seems to go unchecked. He notices that some people steal, oppress, and are struck down without facing immediate consequences. He asks, why are not times of judgment kept by the Almighty? Job 24:1. This resonates deeply with anyone who has faced unfairness in life, whether at work or in personal relationships. Job's friends, who have been trying to convince him that his suffering is a result of his own wrongdoing, find it challenging to defend their arguments against his observations. They fail to see the bigger picture of suffering and instead cling to their simplistic views of divine punishment. This might remind us of moments when we have been quick to judge others without understanding their circumstances. In our workplaces, for instance, it's easy to assume that a colleague who is struggling must have done something wrong, when in reality, they might be facing challenges we know nothing about. As Job continues his discourse, he describes the temporary nature of the wicked's prosperity. He states that although they may seem to thrive for a season, they are gone. Job 24:20. This could serve as a reminder in our daily lives. While we may envy those who appear to have it all, the reality is often far different beneath the surface. It's a call for us to focus on our own integrity and actions rather than comparing ourselves to others. As we move into chapter 25, we see one of Job's friends, Bildad, offering his final thoughts, which are rather bleak. He asserts that man is insignificant compared to God's greatness. While he acknowledges God's power, it feels more like a dismissal of Job's suffering than an encouragement. It can be easy to fall into these conversations in our lives, where we might downplay someone's struggles by emphasizing the greatness of a higher power without offering real comfort or understanding. In chapter 26, Job responds to Bildad with a powerful declaration of God's omnipotence. He paints a vivid picture of God's control over the cosmos, illustrating that God is far beyond human understanding. Job's words here remind us of the vastness of creation and the smallness of our struggles in the grand scheme. He acknowledges God's might by stating, "He holdeth back the face of his throne," Job 26:9. Which invites us to reflect on our own lives and how we might feel overwhelmed by challenges, yet must remember the bigger picture. Job then transitions into chapter 27, where he firmly stands by his innocence. He refuses to acknowledge any wrongdoing that would justify his suffering. Job passionately declares that he will not abandon his integrity, no matter the pressure from his friends or the pain of his circumstances. This is incredibly powerful. It teaches us about the importance of maintaining our values even when the world tries to push us into despair. In our lives, we can draw parallels to Job's unwavering commitment to integrity. For instance, in the workplace, being honest in our dealings, even when it might be easier to cut corners, reflects our character. Similarly, in family life, we might face temptations to compromise our values for the sake of convenience, but Job's example encourages us to stick to what we believe is right. As we reflect on these chapters, we see how Job's story grapples with the complex nature of suffering and the human condition. It reminds us that life is not always fair, and while we may not always understand why we face hardships, we can choose how we respond. Integrity is a choice we make, even in the face of suffering. How do you respond when you see others prospering while facing hardships yourself? In what ways can we support friends who are enduring suffering and may feel misunderstood? Reflect on a time when maintaining your integrity was challenging. What did you learn from that experience? Thanks so much for joining me today for HisTime365. Remember, today's reading is Job 24 to 27, so be sure to spend some time with those verses during your quiet time. Tomorrow, we'll be diving into Job 28 through 30, so feel free to read ahead if you'd like to prepare. If you enjoyed this time together, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so that you never miss a day on this journey. I'll see you back right here tomorrow for day 143. Until then, stay encouraged, and thank you for giving God His time today.